Welcome agents. In today's video I've compiled numerous pieces of news and information to come out recently, and it's likely you will learn something new today. I will cover the new patch for the open beta which has recently been revealed by the devs, discuss changes made in the technical tests, new microtransaction credits and more. If you enjoyed this video I'd appreciate a like on the video and subscribe for dedicated Division content. With that said, let's get to it. Okay, so if you're on console you may or may not have noticed an update for the Division 2 private beta go through recently at around 12GB. Now I played on Xbox, so unfortunately you're not able to find out the update history, but on PS4 you can, and this is what it will say. Content changes: increased level cap to level 8, 1 extra mission is available to play, 1 extra skill can be unlocked, adjusted difficulty on normal and endgame missions, and then we've got issue fixes and improvements, repaired mission access to explosive room, released 1 NPC stuck behind gate, reduced call for backup spam, which is probably the best change they could have done here, minor sound issues were repaired, and improved NPC animations. Now as of me scripting this video, the devs have just revealed all of the changes and new content for the open beta, so I think it's probably a good idea we go over that. Now there are a lot of fixes here which I'm not going to be able to touch upon because I'd be here forever, so I will leave that down in the comments below, but the rest we're going to go over it right now. Okay, so if you head on over to the Division 2 official page, you'll have this come up. It's only just come up. It says the Division 2 open beta update since private beta. We're just going to briefly go through this. It says for the open beta we've made many improvements to the Division 2 based on testing and feedback from the private beta. Overall, we've worked hard on the technical side of the game, which is very important by the way, because that was the real thing that kind of held back the private beta a lot. And further improved server and client stability and performance. We have also made further optimizations to make the game run smoother. So as we know, it will be coming out on March 1st, and so that's this Friday and running to March 4th. So let's go over what's being added and all the sort of changes here. So new additions: we've got the Open Viewpoint Museum mission. So that's a new mission. I think there's now 4 missions, although the new beta trailer, open beta trailer, which I'll put at the end of this video, actually only says 3 missions, but I believe it's going to be 4. We've got Capital Ruins now available in Skirmish, a brand new Skirmish map. Really excited for that because, as I said in my kind of semi-PvP review for the private beta, I didn't like the map for the Skirmish at all. Everyone ran to the middle on top of the roof, and that's kind of where everyone just sort of camped out. Hopefully this map will be a lot better. We've got the new Chem Launcher skill now available, which is, you've probably all seen this. And the only thing I've got to say about this is, from what I can tell in the technical test, a lot of people have said the Firestarter mod, which is that sort of gas that it fires out and you can ignite, that's kind of really good for a team. It's like a team-based mod, simply because when you fire it at NPCs, they'll quickly disperse and you don't have enough time to ignite it yourself, so it's likely you'd have to fire it and get someone else to ignite it. We've then got raised the level cap from 7 to 8, and also character progression in the private beta is not carried over to the open beta. That's pretty obvious, but a lot of people will miss out on that. So balancing changes for weapons. The drop rate of signature weapon ammo has been increased. I think that's probably a good thing, because I think when I played the end game it wasn't that often. But you've got to remember that depending on what specialization you are, it will drop depending on how you use that specialization. For example, sharpshooter, then I think you get increased drops, or it only drops when you get headshot kills, and likewise with the crossbow and the grenade launcher it's also different for those as well. Adjusted weapon mods to make sure drawbacks are generally lower than the positive bonuses. Again, another great change. One of the main issues in the beta, certainly with the mods, was the negative effects that you would get on certain weapons, and it was just the percentages and stuff were just crazy. There were mods that you would never ever use because it just wouldn't make any sense, because the negative effects were far outweighed the positives. You just wouldn't use them, so I'm glad that they've done that. Recoil and accuracy statistics tweaked on several weapons. The RPM of semi-automatic weapons have been reduced overall. I'm not so sure about that. I mean, the semi-automatic weapons were really good in PvE, and that's how they should be. Still, I don't think they'd be good in PvP anyway, so I don't think they should have made that change. But again, we'll have to see. Fix lucky shot talent to make sure it doesn't proc on every pellet of a shotgun. Not sure what that's about. Fixed extra talent to give percentage-based ammo increase instead of a fixed number. Made several adjustments to the power level and handling of specialization weapons. Now, I have to say, from my whole time of using the sharpshooter specialization, I'm going to say that properly, wow. It felt, the handling for me just felt weird. So hopefully this may adjust that. We'll have to wait and see. Now, moving on to enemy health and armor. Now, this is something I wanted to discuss, but I believe it's going to be easier. The whole game generally is going to be easier, which I'm not so sure about, but we'll just see this. Decreased Jefferson Trade Center's bosses' armor and damage. Decreased enemy health armor in co-op, while also slightly increasing enemy lethality. So the enemies are harder to kill, but they can also kill you quicker. Decreased veteran elite rushers armor by half. Decreased armor plating health of the Grand Washington Hotel boss on story mode only. Decreased health of early game hyenas NPCs. Decreased armor plating health for the underground tank. Decrease the lethality and health armor of enemy NPCs in the world tiers. So generally they've made the game easier. I mean, in one instance in the co-op one, then it's more lethal. The NPCs are more lethal, but generally everything's easier. I don't know. I think the actual health and stuff, from what I could tell from the private beta, was fine. But there were instances where I felt as though maybe armor for most NPCs was too high, and it still felt too bullet spongy. And I think a lot of people would be put off by that. Maybe this will help with that. Again, we'll have to wait and see. But generally, from what I've read, everyone has said that this game is easier in the technical test where these changes applied. So yeah, we'll have to see how that works out. Enemy attacks. Remove the bleed status effect from RPG explosions. Decrease damage of the Black Tusk Rusher's weapon. Enemy NPCs will now hit the player slightly more often when the player uses cover to cover. Decreased accuracy of early game hyena NPCs. Decreased accuracy and duration of early game hyenas throwers tear gas grenades. I'm not going to read all of these. Let me just see what else is on here that we can look at. Decreased speed of enemy NPC airburst grenades slightly. Increase the team-wide cooldown for enemy NPCs grenades. Okay. And yeah, I think that's really it. I mean, as you can see all of the stuff on there. It's mainly about sort of, as I said, enemy attacks, and all this sort of stuff is fine. I guess for us, you'll really notice it when we start playing the game. Let's just see what else we've got on here that we can look at. So we've also got enemy behavior. Again, I'll leave that on there so you guys can read through all that. There's a lot of stuff here, and I don't want this video to go on for too long. So I'll just leave that so you guys can read all of that for yourself. Then we've got combat. Decreased time required to automatically mark a target. Decreased time required to transition out of the combat state for the player. That's a good one. Reduce cooldown on combat roll to 0.5 seconds. We'll have to see about that one. Skills. Decreased airburst grenade and incendiary airburst grenade damage. Good. Improved player skill drones follow behavior when player is vertically navigating. Sniper turret now does extra damage with headshots. That's good. Sniper turret aim improvements to more closely match input. Assault turret aim and improvements to be more snappy and accurate. Improved pathfinder and seeker mine so they prefer a more direct path to their target if available. Increased movement speed of airburst seeker mine and also reduced enemy NPC detection of the skill. Now, to add on to that, from what I've read, is that the airburst seeker and seekers in general do less damage in PvP than they did in the beta, where they pretty much one-shot you if you even had a couple of bars of armor left. I think that's been reduced significantly, and that's not mentioned here, so we'll have to wait and see about that. And then mission. Greatly reduced difficulty of Grand Washington Hotel mission on replay. Improve the combat behavior for Agent Calso. I didn't see this as a problem. Was there something I'm missing here? I didn't feel as though the game was hard in the beta. I felt as though as long as you played as a group of 4, then it was pretty easy. I mean, you use cover like you have to, but generally it wasn't that hard. So I didn't really play on hard mode that much, to be honest, so I can't tell, but I didn't realise this was an issue. You guys have to let me know in the comments below. Did you think that the private beta was too hard or the NPCs hit too hard? Just let me know, because I'm not so sure myself. And lastly, we got crafting. Adjusted material acquisition and blueprint costs for crafting. And we don't know what those are at this point. And obviously below that there are many, many bug fixes and improvements. There is too much here to talk about, which I'm not going to go over. But basically, from what you can tell, they've obviously tried to fix the technical state of the game for the open beta so that we get the best experience possible. For me, the main changes here are the new additions, because I'm really looking forward to playing Capital Ruins, the new Viewpoint mission, which I've never played before, and I'm also looking forward to using the Chem Launcher as well. And I also want to see how this enemy health and armor changes are really going to affect the game, because, as I said, I didn't feel as though the game was that hard, and this is going to make it a lot easier, so we'll have to see how that plays out. So I was going to touch upon feedback from the technical test, but this pretty much covers everything. Moving on, and the Division 2 premium credits have surfaced on game.co.uk. There are numerous options to choose from, but I just want to show you this one. This is the Division 2 welcome pack. and it contains 2,000 premium credits and the charades emote. The description below this states that premium credits can be used to purchase in-game outfits, emotes, weapon skins and more. Now this isn't anything new because this is just like the Division, but I thought it was worth mentioning as this is the only news we've gotten about microtransactions in the Division 2. Aside from that, agents, that's pretty much it today. As I said, the open beta trailer has recently dropped, and I will include that at the end of this video. If you did enjoy this and you've stuck around to the end, thank you very much. I'd appreciate a subscribe if you haven't already, or a like on the video, and if you've done both of those, then please make sure that you turn on notifications, and that way you won't miss any of my videos. With that said, I'll now play the open beta trailer. Epic out.